Hello everyone, I'm ImKibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory, where last time we blew up this biome, then turned it into a massive turbo fuel power plant, which can produce up to 55,000 megawatts if anything was actually working, which it's not. Because you see, Mr. Kibbs went a little overboard with things and made it unnecessarily complicated. And then, where it needed to be precise, I was just like, Band-Aid solution. And it didn't work. But to give you some context on what's going wrong, we are getting some crude oil, we're turning it into heavy oil residue, then getting some water, and combining the heavy oil residue with the water in a refinery to make packaged fuel. These are a bunch of alternate recipes that essentially make water into fuel. All we gotta do is pack up some water and unpack it once it's done. Easy peasy, right? Almost, kind of. You see, the mistake was I didn't balance out the fuel processing system with the water packaging system down this way. Instead, I was like, so long as the belts don't get filled, everything will be fine. So I just shuffled them around with some splitters and mergers and thought, oh yeah, this will totally work. And it totally did not work. So we have to fix the power plant, and then we also have to finish it. Like, we have built the machines, and technically it works aside from some issues, but we need to decorate, add in walkways, designs, hubs, control rooms, and all of that jazz. And to do so, we gotta go back to our main base and unlock a lot of technology, specifically stuff in the MAM. In the MAM here, you can get really cool things like Mark II power poles, power switches, priority power switches, and a whole lot more stuff that I really should have got a long time ago. But then I wanted to make turbo fuel, and you know what? Mistakes may have been made. As for decorations, they can all be found on the best store on the planet, the Fix-It Coupon Store. And oh my goodness, look at all of the shinies. We can get signs, paint finishes to make everything shiny and chrome, along with a variety of different foundations, paints, and so much more, all for the low price of 171 tickets. Well, past Kibbs, you've been throwing stuff away periodically. We definitely have 171 tickets, right? That's lower than 171. What about in the hub? I definitely would have some tickets here. Whoa! We're missing 3 tickets, are you kidding me? Well, that's okay, because guess what? We have Somersloops nowadays, and we can make the remains of the creatures we destroy into protein, then double the protein we get with the loop. Then we can make alien DNA capsules with that protein, double it again, and then suddenly, we have all of these capsules for days. And these capsules are worth 1 quadrillion tickets. That's a slight over-exaggeration, but for real, they're worth a lot of freaking tickets. In fact, there are our 3 coupons we needed. Looks like we got 4, which means our little shopping trip is complete. What is it, Ada?
Where did you leave your lizard doggos? What's in this storage container? Where did you put the essential components needed to save humanity? Do you wish there was text to prevent you from constantly taking the wrong turn? Disguise your struggles to comprehend the complexity of your surroundings with signs.
Oh my gosh, I thought Ada was implying I was like some kind of lizard doggo misplacer or something. Jeez Louise, scary. Anyway, that's half the battle. The other half of the battle, the MAM. We gotta get power switches and priority power switches. And most importantly, to fix our power plant, we need the smart splitters. So I loaded up this box with a bunch of goodies, and that should unlock us everything we need. Again, we need the Mark II power poles. Then, AI limiters. Ada, watch out. Better be nice here, because we're getting AI limiters now, and you better believe we're gonna plug them into your mainframe and make you a whole lot more polite. So watch it. Or are you gonna say these don't affect you?
Research completed. AI limiter recipe unlocked. New Caterium research available.
Yeah, that's right. So polite nowadays, aren't you? I wonder why. Okay, what else can we get now? Stun rebar? Later. High-speed connectors. Yes, please. And with those connectors and the limiters, we just have to automate a few temporarily to unlock practically everything we want. So Kibbs, hit 'em with the boop. Excellent job, Kibs. What a tidy little setup you have here, making all of the things we'd ever want and need, right? AI limiters? Out the wazoo. High-speed connectors? You better believe it. And then we also happen to unlock another recipe for crystal oscillators, and you know, we'll probably start making a couple of them too. But that's for later. Ma'am, give me my stuff now. So, Power Pole Mark III, give me that. Already went ahead and got the power switches, along with the smart splitter.
Power Pole Mark III unlocked. It has significantly more power connections compared to the previous models.
Ada, you are always such a wonder and a help. Thank you so much. But then finally, the geothermal generator, which is literally just free power. Don't see why I wouldn't get that.
Geothermal generator unlocked. Geysers added to the object scanner. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. When life gives you deadly geothermal vents, run directly towards them and build generators.
Easily done.
Use potentially lethal natural phenomena for your own benefit. It's the fix-it way.
True. And all right, that is everything we need right now. There is a programmable smart splitter, but And I got some other technologies down this way, but they're not mission critical. Oh, one last thing that is, though, is something I really should have gotten by now, and that is hypertubes. Hypertubes are one of the best things in this game. I love them to death, and I need them now. So let's send it and get the best tech in the game.
By adding hypertube entrances at both ends of hypertubes, pioneers can achieve two-way travel between locations.
You can do that.
They are also % safer than jump pads.
Sure are.
Hypertubes, because fix-it makes pioneers' closely monitored dreams come true.
Okay, awkward. Having an entrance on each side of the hypertube does in fact make them very safe. Or what if instead of making just a nice little hypertube for you to travel through, you instead just made one entrance, go from one to another, 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 to another. Well, you definitely avoid some warranties and insurance liabilities, yeah, but you also end up with a hypertube launcher. So every entrance gives you a little bit of speed, so you put like 13 of these in a row, and then, oh my goodness, off you go. And you can use these launchers to get you anywhere in the world, and just gotta be a little careful because if they're too powerful, you'll go to the other side of the world and beyond and die. But if you make them just right and have cliffs and opportune locations, well then you can just fly to wherever you want, and you don't have to worry about zip lines or anything like that anymore. So you better believe I'm gonna be using launchers everywhere from now on. But priority one is fixing the power plant. And with this whole thing, we could fix it properly by matching these belts and these machines with the packagers over there. But instead, we're going to upgrade the Band-Aid with the second Band-Aid. You see, the whole thing will keep working so long as the packages keep moving. But the splitters can't do that. The smart splitters can, because they have the wonderful setting of overflow. So whenever the front belt gets filled, the overflow will now go, oh, this isn't aligned, whatever. But the overflow will then go to another belt and merge with it. And if that one's filled, well, guess what? This can be an overflow splitter as well and do the same thing. And eventually, all the problems will be pushed to one belt that definitely won't be full, and then it's fine. But Kibs, if you keep pushing the problem to the next belt, won't one of them eventually fill up? Probably not, no. They definitely could, okay? They definitely could, but probably not. The main thing here is this is a very convenient answer, that it's solving the problem right in front of us, and it doesn't require a lot of extra belt work. And hey, worst case scenario, I can just fix the whole thing later, because I'll be monitoring it for a few hours here. Because now that we have all those decorative things unlocked, it is time to make this place look beautiful. Now, it's busy, sure, but I like to make things walkable and pretty. Kind of like I started underneath here. So we have a bunch of water extractors boxed in the area, added in some walkways, some extra little beams and pillars. Looks good. And then as everyone noticed, I just happened to leave this geothermal vent free so that we could plug it up and use it later. And then I even left a little bit of room for us to have a walking path to it. Isn't that nice? Very nice. And these geothermal generators actually make a ton of power too, from 200 to 600 megawatts. So it's variable, sure. But since we have a ton of batteries built, the variability shouldn't matter too much. And on average, that's a free 300 megawatts. And most importantly, a very nice centerpiece to the power plant, don't you think? I think so. All right, decoration time. One thing I love to do with all of my factories is make them walkable. I want to have pathways where I can walk and scoot and see things to make it kind of realistic. Like, what if I didn't have a jetpack or something, right? I want to be able to walk around, do things, go to machines, climb up on them, see what's happening. That kind of stuff. It adds realism, adds detail, makes it all pretty. And I've designed this factory to be walkable. Like, I've left spaces here and there for us to add walking paths in. I've made the heights of certain machines and floors to match up with walkways. So now we can just kind of scoot up onto machines whenever we need to. And a big thing is, there's a lot of just dead space around here. We actually have a ton of oil that we're not even using, and I'm kind of leaving that dead space for it, but at least for now, we can fill in some of that space with walkways and details and extra power lines and stuff like that. Another great thing about adding in the walking paths everywhere is it just adds to the complexity. Like, all of this pipe stuff, crazy. Probably could have been done a lot more simply. But look at how fun it is, eh? What's going on there? I don't know, future Kibs won't know, but I'm sure it's gonna work great. And then we'll just add to the madness by somehow getting a walking path through all of the pipe work. And then once it's done, it's like, oh wow, there's like a little walking path for someone to monitor things. That's so fun, isn't it? And also, since I've paved this entire biome as well, it's really nice to break things up with some walkways or some pillars just every so often. Or instead of having just random belt spaghetti going into the ether, we can just make it look a lot better by adding in like frames and making it look like, I don't know, a construction crane or something. Well, I don't know, you tell me. Does this look better than concrete? I think so. And then, like with the geothermal generator here, I unlocked that radio tower, threw that up with the batteries over there. I guess you could say I'm trying to balance out the height variations there. Now, overall, I have to say, things are looking pretty good. A little bit more chaotic, a lot more fun, and the main thing is, I think the whole thing's working now. I added in more canisters down here. We still have some lines stopping down there, but the water is being filled all the time. And over this way, I'm not noticing any of the belts getting stuck. Like, with not processing the canisters, what can happen is one of these unpackagers will fill up with empty canisters, then it can't make fuel, and then it's pure panic. But everything's moving. Most of the lights are staying green, so I guess we're okay. But I still want to give it just a bit longer to see how the power plant actually runs here. And oh, you better believe I got a lot of time here. Because although the pathways and all like the general stuff is done, now I want to work on the creme de la creme. The centerpiece, the control center of the power plant. After years of playing this game, I think I got a pretty good idea of what I want to do already. And that's to distract myself away from the decorating project and build a hypertube cannon that can launch me into project assembly. Because who needs a space elevator, am I right? When we have janky hypertube physics take me away, brother! I'm coming! Maybe? Oh my gosh. Oh, we're still going up. What a thrill achievement. Reach the world's maximum height, easily done. We're still flying. Jeez Louise, how high up is that? Are we actually gonna make it? There's no way, it wasn't powerful enough? Come on! That's the face of a believer right there. We didn't make it though. Oh no! Holy macaroni though, look at that slab over there, sheesh. Look at that slab down there. Who could have guessed that concrete was this bouncy, eh? Ground, not so much. Back we are again, to ground zero. But the thing is, we're so close. Can't just give up now. What if we just made the cannon twice as powerful? Huh? Let's go. It'll make all of Kib's dreams come true. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think we're good. Well, aside from the whole dying part, we are flying. Goodbye, chill world. Project Assembly, I'm here. Take me to the other planets or whatever the heck you're supposed to do. What the heck even is all of this stuff? Looks like an antenna array or a space laser. I don't know, but oh my gosh, up close, this thing it's pretty crazy. Are we gonna boop it? No way it has collision, does it? Huh? We didn't even boop it. Well, we'll find out what you do very, very soon. All right, back to work here, designing our power plant. And we are done pretty much all of it, aside from the main control building. That will just be in the center here. And I do actually have some real plans. Number one, we're definitely gonna have like a train coming in here and landing on this platform. The train stations are 4 tiles wide, and well, we have quite the length to work with. But then I also want a control room. I want to be able to have control levers that control this to like the entire main grid. And with a priority switch, we can make this priority 1, meaning it will be the last to switch off if we're having power problems. And I want some other power switches to do, I don't know, other stuff. Power switches have like a cool like lever here, and they're fun. So we want lots of them. We also want a really cool design. And being that this is our first power plant, I thought we would pay homage to our previous season with the nuclear power plant. Now we had this really awesome kind of control cube. And so we're gonna be using a bunch of roofs to help us accomplish that. So we're going to have these roofs, but then we're gonna change the material to glass. So we'll have these glass roofs overhanging a little bit here. And once we're over the edge, we'll build some giant glass walls. That way, while we're running around up here, we can be looking out like in the distance, or we can even look directly beneath us at all of like the mission critical pipes that are everywhere. And you know, from the outside, this will look pretty cool. Well, hopefully like eventually. Right now it's, I don't know, it's getting there. The main thing is I need to transition this big square box to like the rest of the foundation down here. It's a very long building, which is kind of weird to work with. So either I blend them together or I make them super distinct from one another. You know, or maybe it's a mix of both. One awesome thing you can do with signs is you can use them to be like really bright lights. So instead of worrying about text or having like images, you can just turn the layout to blank, set the color to whatever the heck you want. Let's just say red, right? Make it emission strength 3, glossy, and boom, darkness. You switch both colors to the color you want, select it, and then boom, blinded by the emission strength. You can just copy and paste that to all the other signs, and after a little while, you end up with this cool neon band. And then wait a second, my goodness, we have beams. And we have this like angle coming down this way, right? Well, we can continue that with just another beam here, and then that can transition into the rest of the building. Or better yet, something more like this, where we have the beams transitioning, I don't know, the fish tank into the rest of the building. I painted some of these concrete walls with a new carbon steel finish, and it makes them look very black and dark, so that's nice. And that works with all of the black lines that are on the windows. Are those two planets gonna crash together? Nope, but looks like they're best friends. Or they're just eagerly trying to figure out the rest of the design here. And yep, that's me too. It's definitely the right direction, just needs a little bit more oomph. And then also there's this back wall here. I'm trying to have this like slope transitioning into the rest of the building back there. It's just, yeah, everything has a lot of variables. All right, for a while here, I think I'm just gonna have to like stare at this and figure out what to do. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain the artistic process. Typically, I like brutalism, builds that are square, in your face, and art with like focal points. Like there's this artist named Wanda Coop that really encapsulates this, where her work is like incredibly detailed and layered. There's always something to focus in on. And after a few hours of tinkering and humming and hawing and looking at references, I think I have something to work with. It's not done yet, probably will be tinkered with more, but it'll work for the purposes we need. It's a little tall, which is a little weird, but it has to be that tall. But the main thing is, I got like a transition piece underneath here that connects kind of the fish tank with the rest of the building over this way. Changed out some of the glass for metal, brought this cool stripe running through so it like hooks it all together. And I figured out what to do with these power lines that just go through the entire building, which still just go through the entire building. But now it kind of looks like it belongs. I don't know. Always stuff to do, always things to change, always names to provide. I was thinking about this while building, but I could not figure out a name for this area. So if you have any name suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. But we are still not done. No. We have the interior to work on next. The most important part, the control center for the entire plant. So there's a few things I want to do. Those control switches, like I was mentioning earlier, but also I have to be able to monitor the flow rate of all of the turbo fuel and stuff. So somehow, we'll just have to bring up the 3 pipes full of the turbo fuel, then have some way of like monitoring them from this platform. In fact, we could probably just add on an extra platform. It's not bad. Technically, we could do this too, and like you can look in there. Seems a little weird, so I'll probably mess with that a bit more. But even beyond that, I don't want to look into a machine or a fluid buffer. I want to have pipelines that can actually just show the fluids moving. They are in the game, they do work great, so these are mission critical. And we'll have these running through, close like the center of the building. I don't know, I guess that's like a start. So we have our 3 pipes of turbo fuel actually just right down there. So I guess we'll redirect them, bringing up a wall and then up and over. We'll go through the top of the building and then, I guess back down to the ground again. Yeah, nice and simple plan. Just really annoying to practically set up, but it does look pretty cool having the pipes going up there, I gotta admit. Oh, and even better, once the pipes reach the end of the control room there, I just brought them down the front, and I feel like that adds on a ton to the whole build. Kinda helps it make a lot more sense. It also helps to have packaged turbo fuel for my jetpack. I was kind of running around doing things. I was like, you know what? I need a better fuel source. So I made some canisters out of the plastic over there, just brought them out front, and there we are. Turbo fuel. Takes a little bit away from our power, but what are you gonna do? Not use turbo fuel? I don't think so. And now we can fly uppies even faster. Hooray. Which is really good on a very tall build. Back to it though. The pipes are looking great, really fills out the area, or does something with it. And then with the walkways here, I managed to make it so these walkways are kind of in a weird spot. It allowed me to still click on the fluid buffers without it being totally clipped in there. I thought this was a happy medium. Next though, is the more simple, but more difficult part of setting up all of these control switches. And it's simple, because all we have to do is redirect a few power lines. What's not so simple is keeping track of everything and then also making it look good later. So I built the platform that we walk on a little bit higher up, mostly so we can actually just hide some power poles down here. Like building them directly straight down is my typical go-to. But from there, it's just regridding the entire power plant and all the power supplies. And to be blunt, it's just a chore, it's not fun, takes time, but at least it's done. Another nice thing is too, there's lots of other stuff to do around this area, so I took some breaks and gathered some extra resources, like the iron that's underneath our platform here. And then, you know what, I guess since we're here, I can show you a nice little trick with these conveyor lifts and the big frame pillars. Whenever you want to build a big frame pillar around a conveyor lift, so it looks like it has some support, an easy way about that is you zoop up some frame pillars, get rid of the bottom one, build in your conveyor lift that just scoots through, and then you can just re-add in the frame pillars later, and it's all locked in. Easy peasy. If you try and do that, with that on the ground though, don't really like to work together. Unless actually if you hold and nudge stuff. But usually this is the way I go about things. Anyway, that's 2 normal nodes and a pure node of iron, scooped up and ready for later use. Back in the control room though. I did as I said, and we now have the power segregated between the plant grid, i.e. all of the power that's being made and used in the power plant. Then there is a battery grid, our main battery bank that's just sitting over there. Sometimes it's useful to have a way to turn it off or disconnect it from the grid, so now it exists. Rather have it than not have it, you know what I mean? And then there's the priority power switch, which I'll just name turbo power, and this allows us to have the turbo power plant here as priority 1. Now these priority switches work is you kind of build a bunch of them throughout the world, typically 1 per factory, and you want to have your power plants as the highest priority, so it shuts off last. And then you can have your other factories, say this could be a motor factory, right? Let's name it that. And we can make that priority 2. And what this will do is whenever you're having a power issue, like you don't have enough power to run everything, the power will go out in priority group 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then all your power is out. So this motor factory will shut off to try and keep the priority group on. Because if our turbo plant can't make turbo fuel, well then we're kind of out of luck circuit-wise. Whereas our motor factory, if it shuts down, that's terrible, but that doesn't mean we're totally screwed. So it's good to set these kinds of things up as early as possible. But now, all is said and done. The control room is technically complete. We can see the fuel moving through, we have the power switches all over, and we can end things off here, can't we? Oh, but you know that we won't. A, because of timestamps, and B, because I'm sure a lot of you realized why I built such a tall fish tank here. That's right. We're gonna bring over our alien power augmenter, which just so happens to be the perfect height to fit in this room. It was all part of the plan. And the best thing of all is I measured things out here in such a particular way that we should be able to sneak this in and then be able to merge the entire thing with our path network that we just set up. So it's all flush with the floor and we can walk around here like this is just attached to the building. With everything painted and adjusted properly, look at this. Just to run around, enjoy ourselves. There's like a little computer console here. We can look at this. We can ragdoll ourselves without having to worry about falling into the void. And another nice couple things I did around here is just decorate this area so it didn't look like turbo trash for the most part. Then added in some hypertubes, one of which will just take us downstairs. Well, we could also use the staircase I built over there, but hypertube's much better. And then we have another hypertube over here, which goes through a little hole in the roof and can lead us back to base, if we so desire. But now with that, this area is complete. And we even have room for more alien power exchangers in there. We'll see what we do with that. We also gotta bring a train in, and there's a whole lot to do now that we have 1 quadrillion power at our disposal. But that will all be for next time. So if you enjoyed, remember to subscribe for more. And until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.